Good day, traders. This is Rick with your futures trading coach. After market update for the live trading alert call room. Today is Friday, August 26th. I'm going to let you guys know what we did. So today I'm going to go from left to right, guys, and we'll just run through this real quick. Today we had about 9 trades. Most people, realistically, it was 8. Because not everybody took every trade, and a lot of people only got 7, up to 7, and that's because 2 of the trades came right around the news, and they were in 2 different markets. We were actually in the ES short here, and then we had a long in the crude or in gold, which triggered next, and then we had a long in crude, and I told everybody specifically I don't want anybody in 2-3 trades. So by the time the third trade came, I don't think anybody, there was a couple people for some reason that were in, like 1% of the room, and it was a small loss, but again 99.9% of the people were not in the trade. I even polled everybody, but we're going to run through it here. First trade we had was a long, and I'm just going from left to right. This is not by time. We had a right before the Yellen news, okay, and we had a long. All my indications say that the market should go up, but again, we've got to deal with the news volatility, which is what we had here. So I wanted to get into the trade, and I was hoping we could sneak into a risk-free trade here. Told everybody it was very aggressive. Everybody knows the policy in the room as far as trading around the news, but we got into the trade. 1334.7. We added a 1332.5, and when it came up right here, I said, look, you must be into a risk. It started flying up here, and I said, look, you have to be in a risk-free trade before the news comes out. So everybody got out right up here, right before the news, lost a couple ticks, no big deal, and then luckily we got out because it just dropped and then it came back up. Now when it came back up, we had an opportunity to get back in. We did not take it because we just wanted to stay away from the news. I wanted to let everything flush out with these big candles and everything like that. But it was the same trade. We could have taken at the same price here. It's just I didn't want to do it during the news. People in our mentoring DNA room certainly, some of them did take that trade, but in the call room we did not. Instead, we opted to take an S play at 1338.9. I told everybody that this thing looks overstretched. I actually was telling people that the ES and everything was going to sell. I wasn't sure about the other markets, but the ES was probably going to sell off. Everything, as you see, was trading lockstep. All the markets pretty much up, sideways, down, up, sideways, down, up, sideways, down. Told everybody that this could just be a 20-tick trade, and that's all you might get on it unless it gets a little bit higher, and that's all it made. We made from 1338.9 up to 13. It made up to 1341.7. So 20 up to 25 ticks on the trade. And that was a nice winner there. We did try to get short then on the crude and the gold, and I told everybody I wasn't happy about it. I really wanted it about another buck higher or so. We got short. Told everybody to just take up to 8 ticks, and you can either go to entry or go for a break even. But I really wanted this thing to come down, so I wanted guaranteed money. So up to 8 to 10 ticks on that. Go to entry, and it's good that you did, because if you did that, then it would have been a total break even instead of at least making money off your first batch. Told everybody if you had 3 contracts on, take 2 off at 8 to 10 and go to entry, because we just want to make as much as we can make and hope that this happens essentially. But I wanted it to happen over here. Okay, now what happened was the market ended up coming back up, and I told everybody we could get back into this, but I just wanted to pass and wait for something better, because I was expecting some sort of a move, and we did get it. 3 of our trades happened after 10:30. So small winner there, break even for some people on that trade. And then we had a power play at the end of the day, and that one made actually up to 37 ticks. That one was from 1325.3, and it went down. I told everybody we were looking for at least a retest of the lows, which was down here from 25.3. That one went down, actually went down further than that. but the previous low there was 13.21.8. So 21.22.8, 23.8, 24.8, about 35 ticks, up to 35 ticks on that trade. Some people may have held longer because it did go lower, but 35 ticks on that. Now on crude, we had a similar situation on crude, but again, this was the one that hardly anybody was in. It was a loser of about 7 ticks because again, we had to be out before the report. We got long on the crude right before the report, and we had to get out of that trade there. And again, for the few people that were in, it was about a 7-tick loss. Some people said 5 ticks, some people said 7 ticks. Important thing was to get out of the trade. We didn't have a full 20, 30 tick stop out. Market went down, came back up. Thought about getting, I actually told people if they wanted to take this was a bonus trade long. I'm not going to count this because we weren't in it. I just told people, if you're up nicely from the other trades and you want to take it, there was an opportunity there at 47.70, and that one went up, 20 ticks. But again, that's just a freebie extra. And then we bought 47.50. Again, that one made up to 10, 13 ticks, nothing big deal. And I told everybody if it doesn't get above the 70 soon, that I was going to come back down, and especially when everything started heading back down. So that one made up to 10, not a whole lot, but a nice little trade. And then in the ES, we had a really nice thing in the ES. We shorted 21.80.50. 21.80.50 on an understanding trade. We were in a free trade by the time the news came out. We were out of most of our contracts. We had 550 and 6/4 as targets. Again, these targets were interesting when the market came and washed down. That's exactly where they held. These targets were on my chart the whole time from when we were in the trade all the way over here. Okay. And my stretch target was 72. So there's people who had their targets set there, and it would have washed down, filled them, came right back up, and that was the end of it. So really nice trade there, up to about 8 points, 8.5 points on that trade. For most people, 3-4 points max. Well, I'm sorry, 550 to 85 points, but some people got more if they held down to the 72. Then we shorted on a death candle trade. This was a 21.85.50. We were short all the way up here. Told people here that I was going to manage this thing tight, and I gave them an option. They could either move their stop down and trail it, and I said it was really tight. Okay, but if you just want to lock in profits from that last contract, you can go ahead and do that. We had a target from 85.50 down at 80.50. Some people moved their stop down 2 points, and they got taken out, locked in 2 points on the last batch of contracts. Other people I told to go to entry if you think the market's coming down. And for those people who did get taken out of the trade, we got back in. But for those who didn't, who stayed in, they made from 85.50. And actually, we were down here when the room closed at 69.50. It went further, but again, this is when the room closed, so I'm not going to count all of this. We did stay in the room a little bit later for those people who were in, but I did have a target there, and if you only had one contract left, you probably would have been out. Depends on how much size you had and if you wanted to trail it and stuff like that. So the beautiful trade there for people who did get out of this trade, or for people who wanted to add. We had a power play short, and that was at 21.77.75. 21.77.75. And that one went down, as you can see, to the target there of 69.50, and that was a beautiful trade as well. So just an unbelievable day in the room. We always have good days usually. Some days there's just not a lot of movement. When we get movement, it just means more profit. So basically we had, to review, we had, if I count the news trades, we had 2 small losers. If I count if I really count one of the news trades, because that's realistically we had 1, 2, 3 huge winners in the ES. We had a small winner here, 10 pennies in the crude. This was the bonus, which also would have been a winner. And then we had a 25 tick winner here, 10 tick winner here, small again, and then up to a 35 tick winner here. So just an unbelievable day in the room. And we are going to come back next week and do it all over again. But until then, guys, have a great weekend. Have a great rest of the day. And we'll see you guys back next week.